All right, here we go. Well, this is an exciting week for funding credit. This is like the first week we're going on with the live stream. We're actually using a new platform, well, an old platform. So we want to really encompass, put a little bit more substance and value on what we're doing. Of course, this is funding hyphen credit. It's the CEO, Meta Marvin or Marvin, and some people just call me Marv. So whatever you want to use or whatever it feels good to you, that's it feels good to me. But I got a special guest that's on today. I really want to salute this queen based on, I guess, the vision that she had. She was introduced to me directly, and I want to say big ups, and she will too when she comes on board. But big ups to BJ Murphy. He's always ready to edify anybody in the Black community when it comes to business and really trying to iron sharpens iron. So I really want to give a big shout out to him. But today we have a special guest on board. And again, I don't want to sell her short. I want to, bring a little bit of attention to, what she bringing to the table and a little snippet of a story, but I'm gonna let her, go in a little bit more afterwards. But Tyresshia Baldwin, she is the creator of the Charlotte Black Business Group on Facebook. Guys, really definitely get into that group. It's powerful. She's really hands-on with the group. And she's really making a whole lot of accomplishments, and networking is really something that she's really valuing. And it's been just a great connection ever since I met her, and it was indirectly. And I just had to have her come on board. I just thought it was a fantastic opportunity for us to do this at this time, what's going on in our community, in our country. We definitely looking at via buy Black, but to buy Black, you have to have Black businesses. So we want to highlight some of this stuff, but at the end of the day, our conversation is going to go more into how can we keep our businesses open and be able to have cushion and be able to be sustainable. And she's going to have a few questions for me. I'm looking forward to that. And so no further ado, Miss Baldwin, how you doing today?
Doing great, Marvin. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. I'm so glad to have you on board. It was just a delight to actually really just talk to you on the phone and sort of hear your mindset, about what you're doing in the community. And you have a common thread, and I would say more of a story on why you created this this Facebook group. And I want you to expound on what was really your pivot. What was the moment when you was like, okay, hey, I just need to start a group? And where'd that come from, and how did that all work out for you?
Okay, so my fiance was self-employed for about 3 years prior to the group being started, and we were expecting our second child, and I knew that we needed more income, and more so from him than me, because soon I would be at work. So I decided to, hey, let's just start Black businesses. Well, let me go back a little bit. I joined a couple Black business groups back in 2016 just to see, what they allow Black business owners to do. And a few of them, they did not allow them to advertise. It was more so the page giving out resources, or there were even restrictions on how much a business could advertise per day. And that just didn't fit with what I needed at the time for my husband's business. So I started the Charlotte Black Business Group, and I basically, allowed business owners in Charlotte and the surrounding areas to join the group and advertise their business at no cost. At that time, about 20 members. And fast forward to 3 years later, or 4 years later, we're at 33,000 members and growing.
That's guys, 33,000 members, guys. Let's just harp on that for a minute. Let's look at just businesses as a startup doing, let's just say $20,000 a year. Miss Baldwin has a Facebook group, guys, of more than 30-something thousand members, 33,000. So just do your math real quick on what value she has into this group, guys. So, see, this is the stuff that goes on in our community that we look over. And we have it right here in front of us. We can, we can maximize that opportunity. And so I love this type of thing because I'm a networker myself. And, and when it comes to business owners, I feel that this is the time that we need to sort of push the pill when it comes to our kids, our families, and everybody else, more so of see how we can stay sustainable regardless of what, based on our skill sets and being entrepreneurs. And so, that's just resound. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to jump into it. Tyresshia, I mean, you started the group in 2016 is what I'm looking at. And I know Charlotte can be, I've been a business owner in Charlotte since 2007. And I was in the military. I did the military thing. I went and worked at the Veterans Hospital. That was retroactive towards my retirement. He got my numbers to me, and I knew it was something bigger. And I just stepped out on faith. I took a couple grand, opened up a business downtown Charlotte on 9th Street and went for it. Didn't know anybody, didn't know nothing, didn't know what I was talking about, and didn't have no networking to help me. And so I can really appreciate what you have here. And, so with this being said, Tyresshia, what do you want to really talk about? Because I wanted to answer some of your questions as well, and we can go back and forth and have a rhythm. It's up to you, but I just want to make sure you put some value and give some information that's pertinent, I think, that maybe some business owners might need to know. Or something they could either reach out to one of us and get some information about if they want to, step out and do something. So I'm all ears, and I'll give it up to you. And you want to open up the door and give me some questions? I'm fine.
Sure. So I opened up the door for businesses to advertise, but that's not it. As we grew, I felt the need to be an advocate for the community, in the aspect that, some people just don't know. Like you said, you started off, you didn't know anyone, you just stepped out on faith. And there are a lot of business owners so the platform can also be used for business owners that are, just pen and paper basic, just don't know how to register their business. They don't know much about the tax forms. I mean, some of the things that I see in the group as far as us coming together to help one another is really impressive. So if you are a new business owner out there and you don't necessarily know where to start, this group is available for you to make those connections. Do not be afraid to join the group and ask questions, because some things we just do not know. And I am so glad that I have started that platform for people to join and, go from the pen and paper to a brick and mortar, or even franchisees. If it's not necessarily a Black owned company, you can come in and ask for the different lawyers to help you get the process started. You can also gain a friendship out of the group. We had several events. I partnered up with Unity Market, and what it is, it's an area where Black businesses come, set up vendor tables, and they sell their product. And in the meantime, they're making connections with one another. And some people have walked away with long time relationships, business wise and just personal, people who can help them introduce them to people that can help their business. It's just amazing. So join the group. If I don't have the answer to your question, I guarantee you there are 33,000 other people in the group that could possibly help you get the information that you're looking for.
You bet. 33,000, somebody's going to have an answer, right?
Yeah, somebody's going to have an
Yeah.
answer for you. And sometimes, you may get different answers, but at least you have some idea of what, you did not know yesterday or this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, again, this stuff is valuable. I'm getting, hits, emails from all over the country from, of course, business contacts and different people of, hey, Marvin, what do you feel was going to be, more of a remedy or a direction for business owners so they can be a little bit more clear on, what their options are. We can have a more of an automated process for people to come in and, and get dialed into, getting their articles and getting their EIN number and going out and getting the right banking account, just the different basic things.
Right.
And then other than that, a lot of the gray areas, I think, Tyresshia, is that once we get a business, and again, me and you were talking about that other day, we're really, we're being sarcastic, but it's true in a way that, we might be good at something and we might have that talent, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have some type of means of capital somewhere. If you don't have a rich uncle or, or something stashed away. So, when it comes to these lending institutions, you got to sort of have certain criteria and certain things together, for them to even value as a business or either give you any type of funding. And so that's where I've become, I'll say knowledgeable in and been doing it successfully for almost 7 years now here in the Charlotte area and more so in the Lake Norman area as well. So again, how do you feel, is there a lot of questions that have came across your desk, Ty, that you feel that might needs to be answered, or some things that you feel that you might want to, ask me that, that some people might want to know or fill in some areas that, that might need to be covered?
Yes, absolutely. And with me being in the forefront, because this is something business credit. So when I think about credit, I think about my personal credit. I've never really tapped into the business aspect of credit until recently. So I would like to know, what is business credit?
Well, business credit is an extension to it's a whole different human being. It's an entity within itself. Now it is connected to you in a sort of type of way. Of course, you're the decision maker, but a business and an entity is out here to make money and to make profit. But it's a whole different tax bracket when it comes to a business. It has its own social security number, which is the EIN number. And it's built to bring people on board and hire people. That's the value of it. The value is to go out and amass monies and to be able to structure your life under that umbrella as a via business and have nothing to do with Tyresshia Baldwin. And so with that area, a lot of people that gets into business needs to know the gray areas of that. And so banks treat you as such. They take your EIN information with your employee identification number, which is basically your social security number, business type social security number. And you have to go on Secretary of State and make sure nobody has your name and all that good stuff. And your articles and organizations, and you put that package together. So no more other pieces to it, but that's for the most part, that's it. And you have a business entity, whether it be it could be a sole prop, it could be a LLC, it can be a corporation in itself. But there's a lot of different ways that you can sort of set yourself up. It all depends on, the tax, the tax breaks that you're looking for and the type of business that you're in. But business is something that I feel that everybody needs to have one for more than one reason. And I feel that even if I tell people, man, even if my name is Marvin Wilson, if I don't even have an idea what Marvin Wilson is, at least I can go out and be Marvin Wilson LLC. You know what I'm saying? And because once we get into that, and me and Ty, like we said, we're gonna, jump into this, and hopefully we can have a little bit more, weekly or bi-weekly versions and episodes to keep this good energy going. But I can get more in depth with you and to get you the tax breaks of via how a business can work for you, your husband, and your kids all in one time. And this stuff don't take but a few days to put together, and it can really change your life. So that's my definition on my terms of what a business is, but I hope I covered pretty much what you needed to hear.
Okay. So I'm taking notes as we go. So another question would be, does the business credit affect, I guess you already answered it. It does not affect your credit. It's not attached to your credit. Mm-hmm. Is there ever a time where the business credit could affect, like if you don't pay the bill? How?
Good question. That's the area that I harp on with a lot of my clients. I have a business credit model that I build out, and a lot of people that understands that you get the $50,000 of vendor's credit, and you get all this other type of different credit cards, if you will, and it sort of gets you from vending to monetary value when it comes to business credit, and having certain trade lines and lines attached to your business. But what happens is that when you say, Tyresshia, if you get into business Monday, and you go to the bank, and when you're going to open up that business bank account, they're still going to ask you, what's your social security number? And people are like, well, I'm opening up a business account. Why would you ask, why would you ask for my social security number? Well, they're still going to need to have your personal information. A lot of times it's more of a startup business, and we call it more your personal guarantoring your business if you're looking for funding. And it's called PG, personal guarantor. So that's more when you first started a business and you don't have anything attached to the business. I mean, you don't have any business taxes. You can't show any P&Ls. You don't have any credibility on the business side. So what happens, Tyresshia, is that what they look at is, okay, who are you? Because we got to hold somebody accountable, and so what they do is, Tyresshia, they look at your personal score, and they give you more of I would say, of how people can understand it, more of a probation period, if you will. They'll give you money under your business name, right? But it's under your business. But if you don't pay them back, or we call it belly up, or you don't pay, or whatever the case may be, those lenders will put that on your personal credit. Okay. So, and then from there, I like to tell people it's almost like you still need to have good personal credit, because they're not so much always gonna look at it. I mean, pull it, but they will look at it, because they got to know who you are, and they got to know that if this person is going to be credible on the personal side, then we don't mind giving them a startup loan or a startup line of credit on the business side. So always have good, great, substantial credit going into business, on having a good personal credit score when you're starting a business, because it will help you, very favorably, because they will start you up as a PG status. But once you get certain criteria, when it gets to business credit, and it's happened to me, and I've started drum rolling a lot of things that I have going on in my life, that you won't have to use your social at all, because what they will see is 20 to 30 different entities or vendors, if you will, that's working with you, and you're making, whatever, well, put it this way, you're paying out of the business name, and you're paying vendors, and they have reportable content of you're paying vendors $25,000, $30,000 a month. And that criteria enough there, they will give you money based on your business, You've filed your taxes. They will do a 4506. They will pull look at your taxes, and you'd have to have a profit and loss sheet different. You have to have your documents ready to really, like I said, you got to know how to run a business for them not to even look at it. With those things there, for the most part, they will look at your business, look at that criteria, and they will pretty much give you business funding out of that business name and out of that EIN without even alluding to a social security number. But that takes time, and I think what people get understanding, they think that when they first open up a business and they go out and start doing a business, it's not going to reflect their personal credit at all. Well, it starts there, but the end result is not to always be there. But you do need good personal credit to talk and stand up for your business. So, that's sort of how that happens at the beginning when you're first starting up a business.
Okay. How are the interest rates, or are there any interest rates with business credit?
Well,
and if so, how are they determined?
Yeah, it is. And again, we call when we look at seasoned business, those to when businesses that seasoned, meaning they've got more age, or they don't really look at it as a risk. Like if you've been in business for 4 or 5 years, it's not as risky for them to say, okay, hey, Marvin and Tyresshia just opened up a business 3 days ago. So with that being said, that always helps with this, how old the business is. But again, it's still going to go to the business credit, and it goes into these things. Do you have a Dun and Brad number? Basically, how is your Paydex score? Paydex scores favorably on a business should be no less than 80, but it should really be 100. Paydex is more so of your credit score on the business side. And then, of course, your Dun and Brad is the entity that sort of reports on your behalf and lets people know you're a good guy in business, and it's sort of like a report card, if you will. And then you have business credit scores that they can look at, which Experian has a business credit entity, and such as Equifax. But for the most part, when you have certain criteria on a business, what they're going to look at is what have you done on the business and what criteria have you paid on. But at the beginning of the business, again, if you went there and you don't have none of this stuff, again, Tyresshia, they're going to look at your personal score, just like they do on the personal side. But what happens is they say, okay, well, Tyresshia, she has a 750 credit score. Okay, wow. Okay, that's great. And she has a new LLC. How about that? Great. Okay, so she has great personal credit, and she just started a business 2 days ago. Okay, great. Okay, so what they're going to look at, Tyresshia, is like, again, they're going to look at how much debt you have on your personal credit. They're going to look if you're maxed out. So credit debt ratio, again, it should be under 30, more favorably 10, 15%. Again, they're going to look at sometimes the revenue of the business, what you're bringing, what's sustainable coming through that business bank account. But if you don't have that yet, I'm just letting you know that's what they look at. They still look at your credit debt ratio. They look at how many inquiries you have. They look at what your credit card limits are. And so all that stuff compiled in what they call it is an algorithm. It's a sort of a systematic data system that they put you through. And when all that content comes in there, they pretty much sprue you out. Some guys I've had come through had almost 800 credit score. Tyresshia, they'll walk away and have 3 or 4 business credit cards, 0% interest for the first 12, 16 months. And these cards sometimes $40,000, $50,000 credit limit. I mean, it's just amazing. American Expresses, right? And all this other stuff. But then sometimes you have people that go in there and it can go up to it can be 10, 12%. I've seen them even sometimes have almost 20%. But what I like to get into, what I want to tell people is when you get into business, though, guys, and I want anybody to challenge me on this, Have you ever heard of a business being challenged because they looked at your credit debt ratio? There is no credit debt ratio on business. That's why I try to tell people, go for it. I mean, hey, run and keep running, that gray area, being knowledgeable and know what you could do with the business. But they don't look at, once you get on the business side and you get your business set up a certain way, like right now, if I would just say, oh, okay, hey, I'm going to go and get $200,000 on my business, would nothing change? Wouldn't change, it wouldn't, it wouldn't look at, oh, well, Marvin's not making that much, or he's making that much, he's maxed out. You cannot get maxed out on business credit. There's no way. You can't do it. It's not set up that way. So when you get into business, if Tyresshia would go and say, okay, Marvin, well, I'm just going to be Tyresshia, me. I'm a W-2 employee. I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to get a personal loan. You would go out and pretty much forecast, and they would give you, and I'm just making a parable, they would give you 15 grand. But if Tyresshia would go to that same bank and apply with an LLC, she would probably get 2.5 to 3 times more than what she did as a person opposed to a business. It's completely different, whole different ball game. So that's why I love to see people be able to see those different areas of being able to understand what can really propel you to the next level, not to put people, and again, when I'm talking about lending in business, people get the mindset of debt. I'm not talking about debt, guys. I'm talking about leverage. I'm talking about having the type of volume or the type of means in a business that you don't have to pay them back every 30 days. You can pay them back every 90 days. So if you know what you're doing, imagine how much money that you can, accumulate in 90 days, and now you're paying it on a quote unquote 3 or 4 or 5% interest on something, and so you're not paying the whole pill. You're just paying what you need to pay to at least have that standard payment, for whoever you're paying, because it's credit at the end of the day. You don't have to pay the whole thing. So that's just sort of the way how the business works. And I just want to put that out there, Tyresshia, so they can be clear on that.
But thank you for clarifying, how business credit works. Now, you mentioned trade lines.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
There are trade lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I want to do is I'm going to get really in depth with trade lines. I'm going to make it so much in depth that people probably going to be calling you tomorrow and want to know. But what we're going to do real quick, Tyresshia, we're going to take a 2-minute break.
Okay.
And we always do this just so people maybe can get some thoughts together. They may want to ask a few questions. I don't know if you've seen a few questions on your end. But what we'll do, we'll come back and we'll jump right into the question you have for me. And then we'll maybe open up to see if there's any questions out there. Okay. Is that fine?
All right. Yes, that's perfectly fine.
All right, then. I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, guys, this is Funding Credit, guys. We're doing it every Thursday for the most part. Just inviting a lot of elite people that's really been adamant about, building knowledge and networking and, bringing a lot of good information. I feel that what most business owners need, definitely when it comes to, getting business and being able to cross just be able to cross one another in the right way and say, hey, I can meet you to such and such, or I can meet you with Tyresshia. Oh, Marvin does that. So I have an amazing guest again. She's on, and this is Tyresshia Baldwin, and she's doing a phenomenal job uh, with the Charlotte Black, business group, and I'm just happy to have her on board. So we had talked about a lot of things. We talked about business credit. We talked about being a personal guarantor, meaning the individual that's connected to the business, but they're still going to look at the person's personal credit to sort of guarantor business credit towards you. And we talked about how business credit can actually work for via you, the business. It can get you, real estate. It can get you cars. Whatever you're doing as a person, you can do it as a business. But people just not moving as a business. They're looking at themselves as individuals, and they're not knowledgeable about why people can go out and make $250,000 and make it look real easy, because you're running a whole different format. It's almost like a big wheel compared to a tractor trailer, you know. And I like to put it out there, guys. If you're in the United States, and anybody that does their due diligence on the United States, I'm a veteran. United States is a corporation. So how can you win working as an individual? You can't, I mean, you can, but you're going to get the scraps. You're not going to see the good stuff. You're not going to get to the big show. And I just like to be straight up with people, and that's just the truth. So we got to start here. So I got Tyresshia Baldwin on here, and I know you had asked me about. Oh, I do want to add, guys. Definitely, guys, go hit me up on Funding Credit. We always got a lot of stuff going on. Go to the website. We have a lot of different ways you can connect. We do personal credit. We do business credit. We do business credit modules. We do business structures. We get you set up. And we do very well. We love getting people 700, 750 credit scores, showing them how to leverage that credit, go into business and tear the house down. Again, we show leverage, not debt. And wherever you are in the business, we love to consult, work with you. It's pretty much a one-stop shop. We do personal trade lines. We do business trade lines. And so that's the next subject that Tyresshia was wanting to ask me about, was trade lines. And so Tyresshia, just harp on whatever part, and I'm willing to open it up and give them what they need.
Okay. So yes, business trade lines. What are they and how do they work?
Okay. Well, put it this way. Business trade lines, they're there. And what happens is that when people get into business and they're not really mindful of that's how it works, you have to show paying people to build the business. It has to be reportable. I mean, Tyresshia, we can be running a travel agency, right? And we're using our cell phones and we've got computers and all this stuff to run the business. But if nothing's reporting on our business, then we're just pretty much just not even running a business. We're just using stuff. So what I try to tell people is that with my module, we got business experts and team members of mine that works on my team, and everything that's going on in your business, they make sure it's reporting on your business credit. Those are trade lines. That's Verizon. That's your Xerox paper. That's your toilet tissue. That's your light bulbs. Anything that you can think of. I mean, I had my house out in Lake Norman area. I mean, everything with that house, it was under the business. Even the house itself was under the business. And so that's a whole nother story. So when I tell people I haven't used my personal credit And in the last 5 years, they laugh. Oh, I'm like, well, no, I'm being honest. So but it works because it gives me so much leverage. I don't have to go out here and chase money because they're looking at the business. They're not looking at Marvin. They're not looking at Marvin at all. And when you show that you can pay that type of money and you're consistently running a business that's making that type of money, no questions. So trade lines are really extensions to vendors, is what we call it. They're people that it's how you run your business. Who is Tyresshia paying every month? On a monthly basis, like how you pay your light bill and your rent and all that. Same thing with business, but they're making trade lines instead of bills. But you got to make sure that's where Dun and Brad and a lot of these other different things comes into place. But you got to make sure that when you create something, say, hey, I want to go and get 4 phone lines at Verizon. Well, you better make sure that Verizon reports on business credit. You see what I'm saying? Because you just be paying a bill in a business name and you think you got a trade line. You ain't got a trade line because it's not reporting. So, but those things help, because if you're paying $400 or $500 or $600 a month on phone lines, they need to be reporting. One, because you can write it off. 2, you can report it because you can be able to get that money back. And there's a whole lot more to that we can talk about later. But that's basically what trade lines are. They the bills that you're paying in your business on a monthly basis. That's what it is.
Got it. So as a new business owner, someone who doesn't have the rich uncle, I'm a little skeptical about the loans. Yeah, there are some grants out there, but I just do not qualify for them because I am new. Do you recommend that I apply for a business credit at the beginning of my entrepreneurship, or once I start to, develop some sense of income from the business?
That's a good question. When I first started my business, I was blessed to have the right people around me at that time. And I had a little bit of money, set to the side. And I just went, and that's just me. I went out and I got the 2,000 square foot building. I had the call center, and so I had to figure something out real quick because I jumped out there in deep water, So, but what I would tell people right now, since the times is changing, I think that what this Corona's going on, Tyresshia, people really need to be mindful of how they're building their structure, make it more automated, more technology savvy, use whatever type of creative ways you can do to communicate and be visible. But at the end of the day, it's not like it was when I started my business 6 years ago. So what I would say is, yes, create a business, but don't sleep on the business credit. I could see you starting a business and you say, okay, well, I might need to, maybe look at, getting a few things going. But I would definitely say, get your business credit, because that's really what it is. Your business is not a business if it doesn't have any credibility. You know what I'm saying? So the longer that you wait, it feels like it's not really prioritized at the beginning. Like, what I need it for? I'm good. I'm making a lot of people get caught up on making money in a business. And I try to tell people, my mentor always told me, Marvin, a business is ran off credibility, not the money. The money is in all be all. You're gonna make money, but to be sustainable with the money, you got to have the credibility. You see what I'm saying? Because if the cash flow ever stops or slow down, then what you got? You see what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to fall back on. You ain't got a $25,000, $30,000 card. You can't go to the bank and say, well, I've been paying this many bills. Oh, okay, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Marvin, since you have been working with us and we've seen the money you work, that's fine. I know this season is a little slow. So what we'll do is since you've made 80 grand, we'll at least give you 40,000 to get you over this little hump. It happens all the time. But you got to have credibility there, though. You know what I mean? And so I'm just trying to tell people to don't, work going inside knowing this, do the preventive maintenance from the beginning, so you don't get into a business and then you're like, oh, what am I do now? and you're scrounged and you don't know what to do, because you can't be creative with a person when you got a lot of stuff going on in your head. I always tell people, you got to structure it right. So my answer to you is, I would say start business credit as soon as possible when you start a business. No matter what's going on with us over here at Funding-Credit, Tyresshia, we get people get their credit clean. We've had, I'd say probably close to 15 people in the last 3 months. We put them in a good package deal. We're getting their personal credit clean. This is even people that's in business. We're working on their personal credit. We started their business credit, and we're also parachuting, putting stuff on their personal credit that's going to get them more money when their business do get to the point that they can become fundable. So we doing all that at one time. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of times people are not savvy and don't know how to do that. And that's why, I wanted to, to have you on board, because being honest with you, of course I love the business. I want people to knock on my door. I want it to be beneficial to you. But at the end of the day, my heart is I really want to help people, because what I went through, a lot of people, I don't know if they made for that. You know what I'm saying? But I want people to really get the big picture, because if we're teaching our kids to work for people, then, Black lives don't matter. It does matter, because that's why everybody's saying, okay, yeah, we're protesting. I'm not trying to get on that side though, but if you're protesting and you want freedom, then the first thing I think about is economic freedom. But they're not going to give it to you. You got to create it.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at with that. I'm really that's where my heartbeat is when it comes to connecting with via people like yourself, Tyresshia, that has a network of plethora of a lot of professionals, and we need to come together and not be combative or competitive, and be creative and bring the right people to the table, and we can help a lot of people.
I agree with you 100%. So I do have a question that was sent in by a business owner. She would like to know, would Marvin recommend allowing an accountant / business consultant that is setting up your business to handle setting up your business credit as well?
I would think that would be a plus. That would definitely be a plus, because like for me, it was almost 2 years before I even mounted up QuickBooks and all this other different types of modules that I know that I needed. But and a lot of things, like I said, I don't tell anybody to go my route at the beginning, but I had to learn the hard way. But I would definitely have a CPA accountant. Me, myself, I have an accountant and a bookkeeper. And then on top of that, when you're sort of, when you're not making money as of yet, it really doesn't matter. But once those numbers start coming and you start spending and using them business cards and using several accounts for several different things, you need to have somebody professional to let you know that you definitely need to do it this way. This needs to be doing that. Don't do this. So I would definitely say, yes, I do suggest that if, having an accountant on board, or a bookkeeper, if you will, that's definitely valuable. So I would say yes.
Okay. So going back to make it all make sense, the business credit and the trade lines kind of work hand in hand, because you said that with trade lines, it's keeping track of what you're paying out. So your essential needs to, if you have, cell phone bills.
Yeah. And that's the elementary side. I mean, now the trade line can also be that I went out and got $100,000 business loan and I'm paying on it. You see what I'm saying? That's a trade line too. Because a loan is helping you grow the business, right?
Grow the business, yes.
I'm harping, I guess, from the more of the income, the beginning stage. But anything that you do in extension to the business is a trade line, and how you're paying it is sort of a reflection of what you got going on, the boatload, what it really encompasses, that what you're doing to move the business from day to day to day to day. So going out and getting funding, small business financial exchange. It's a lot of different things that, the banks look at. Pay net 30 leases, what you're paying on an office building every month. Sometimes, I mean, I was at Lake Norman, I was paying close to $1,500 a month for an office, and that was just the office. That wasn't even the equipment and everything else. So those were trade lines, but then again, I went out and got 120 grand, and that was a trade line, so it all sort of a reflection of what you're doing and what's connected to the business and how you're paying and what you're paying.
Are there any limits to what can be purchased on business credit when it comes to your business? So if you just wanted the credit card as a secure method to make sure that the rent or the lease is paid on the building that you're using, would there be any restrictions on what could be purchased on business credit?
It depends on certain cards. For the most part, a business credit card, as long as it falls in the line of running the business, it's not really too many restrictions there. Certain cards has certain, areas that are better there, or the interest rates is better. Certain different perks, if you will, different things like that. Cash back, different things. But I would say that what I do with a lot of my clients is that, when I got them from beginning to end and they're not really credit card savvy, I get them with the secured cards and have them paying with the secured card on their personal credit, just so they can understand and get the value of what a card is. And then once I get them paramount to the point that they can be sustainable on the personal side and get them in a business, now they're sort of understanding the magnitude of what the card can do. So again, having maybe via 2 cards, maybe 3. I've seen guys go out and do some magic with that type of stuff because they knew what to do with those cards. And again, we've talking about using those cards. We're talking about guys that know how to liquidate those cards. We know how guys know how to, minimize those cards and do, balance transfers. It's a lot of different creative stuff that people that knows how to do cards, and it's perfectly legal. That's what people do. And I was taught by the greatest. So I mean, the people that they're millionaires and they play with it like toys, but their mindset is not about lack and limitation. They're not about being touched personally. You know what I mean? And so with that type of value and that type of business structure, sometimes you have to be mindful who you're talking to, and sometimes you got to meet people where they are. So, and I think that's where I strive on meeting people where they are, and wherever they at, then we can get there. And then I'm not a one-man team. I have an accountant. I have 3 ladies that work for me. One of them used to work for Equifax on the personal and business side. I have about 40 years of experience when it comes to business credibility, personal credit, and business structure. When it comes to me, I'm just more of the visionary of where this thing is going. So I don't want to take all the credit, but but it does take people around you, with a business to really make sure that you're doing it right if you want to do it right and take it to the next level.
Got it. I appreciate you so much for breaking this down, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who, like myself, I mean, I catch myself looking for ways to become more economically sustained. So I'm looking up those debit cards, those credit cards, point values, which part work better. But I follow Dave Ramsey as well.
Oh, yeah.
Develop that mindset that if I can't afford to buy it cash, I'm definitely not putting it on my personal credit. So
there you go.
A place in my life to where my credit cards are paid down.
There you go.
a few things that I'm working on that are larger in the purchase amount. So that's what I'm working on now. But the business credit, I'm very excited to learn more as much as I can about it, how it works. I really appreciate you for breaking that down for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to add this. This is I heard it from it's a gentleman, I forgot what movie in, but he was breaking down about, I like to tell people about, and I know everybody's had one. I've had them, and I think I've still got one or whatever. But the worst thing that the bank have ever really given out, and it works for us, Tyresshia, but what I'm saying, just be mindful what's going on out here with all this, with the safety and the credibility and all this crazy stuff, people taking people's information and all that stuff. But when you have a credit card, Tyresshia, and you have them, but what I'm saying is if something would happen to my credit card right now, Tyresshia, and I would call and say, American Express, hey, listen, I just lost my credit card. It'd be in my doorstep and within a day or so. Try calling and saying that you lost your debit card, right? One, it's going to take you 7 days. Yeah, they'll give you a temporary card. Then they're gonna want to ask you 20,000 questions about what happened, how did it happen, blah 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 blah. They're gonna think you're lying to them, all this crazy stuff that people go through. If I want to take a boat out on the lake, I pay with my card. If I want to pay for pay something with my daughter. If I want to put my daughter on my credit card, I know she's going to go to the bar or whatever. I can put a restriction on the card. She's not going to blow my credit card up. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now I can put her as an authorized user on my credit card. Okay, so that means her credit score is going to be an 800. And it is. My daughter's credit score is like a 780 because she's using my cards. You see what I'm saying? So credibility, the debit card would probably be the worst tool, me personally, that the bank has ever given out. One, it's your money. So it ain't like it's nothing they giving you. It's your money. If you ain't got no money on the card, try to use it. And then if you do, you're gonna get overdraft, right?
Right.
So I'm not trying to tell people to, get them, oh, he's trying to push credit, but I'm just trying to give them the understanding, because if you're already mindful of what you're spending your money on, you're gonna be mindful.
Oh, absolutely.
But again, if you have $3,000 or $4,000 that that's allotted towards bills, why wouldn't you put that on the card? And you're only going to pay a third or fourth of what you're normally paying. I just, and that's leverage. It's paid for. You're just paying the card back. The bill's paid. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but I think that, Tyresshia, we could talk straight. I know I wasn't raised that way. You know what I'm saying? I was raised,
right.
Get what you need to get, make sure the rent paid, but it's a new time. It's a new time these days. And I think that if we get more educated, we prioritize, don't live over our means, but you can get a whole lot more done when you're credible. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm just trying to push, because like I try to tell guys, okay, y'all see these hotels or the big thinkers like myself, you want to go do these big projects, brother. I mean, I don't, unless you got a couple $100,000 in the bank, you're gonna have to have some credibility somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's just gonna oh, you got a good job, you're making $40 an hour, they're gonna give you, that it doesn't work that way. And if it's going to be some credibility there, then use it. That's what they give you the card for. Use it. Don't abuse it, but use it. But that's how you build a business. Business is about risk. Business is about what the country that we in. I mean, Tyresshia, I'll put it like this: if you really want to pump some real music from our hearts, let's pump some real blood, not the Kool-Aid, okay? When you put money in a bank, you say if right now you go cash your check or you get direct deposit in your bank, you get $2,500. and it goes into the bank. Do you think that it went there in the bank and it stayed in the bank? Do you think your money is in the bank?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you know it's not in there. But if you would go online, you're like, no, hold on, Marvin, hold on now. No, I just put my money in the bank. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna go online. My $2,500. But it's not there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to get you to see is the mindset of the people that's controlling what we're doing and how they think. They're using other people's money to prevail. So why not use your credibility to prevail? You don't have to work hard. You just have to not say become like them, but you got to be able to think like them because it's their show. You know what I'm saying? So, and the only way that you're going to be able to go out here and do what you need to do for you, yours, and your family is you're going to have to you're going to have to become a part of some type of show. Run it your way. But at least you know the ins and outs of how this big game is being played. That's what credibility is about, you know? And that's why the whole time, Tyresshia, that this corona's been going on, everybody, you know, I went and got my PPP. I went and got my protection, payroll protection. And I got my small bits. I did that. But at the end of the day, I do funding. People come to me and say, hey, Marvin, I want to consult with you for you to do funding for my business because I know you can get more money than I can get. Okay, because I know you know where to go. You got the software. I got the soft pull program that don't hurt your credit. I just take your business, put it in my software that pretty much lets me know where you need to go, what bank you need to go, and what value you can get from that bank before we even go anywhere. I ain't even touched the credit yet. I'm giving you a blueprint of what you can get with your credit. Okay, that's the preventive maintenance that I do at my business. That's why I have people that really do good things and big stuff in the community company. But make a long story short, you have to look at this thing as almost like it's almost like a machine, you know. And if we keep chasing the money and just think, okay, we're going to get clients. Well, most people that got the most money with payroll protection was the people that had clientele and had clients and 1099s. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 times more than a lot of the people that got because I had a lot of 1099s working for me. I was paying bills, but I was paying people, but I was running a sustainable business. And what Corona showed people is, look at Walmart. Walmart, that wasn't called Walmart because they billionaires. Everything in Walmart, Tyresshia, what people don't understand. I went down there. I did a seminar down there, and Walmart was one of the places that we went, and we did a study on it. Everything that goes into Walmart, this is business credit. This is the epitome of business credit. When you go into Walmart, Tyresshia, you see everything that's on those, toilet tissue, mayonnaise, all this stuff. This stuff was bought 3 years ago on business credit. So you see them long lines, you in line, self-checkout, all that's profit. That's all you're looking at. You're looking at profit. Everything that you're seeing in there, these people up there putting it up on restock and all that, you're looking at $1 million, $2 or $3 million of mayonnaise. Just come on, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. We good. You see what happened to Patti LaBelle when she tried to go in there with her pies? She had to wind up giving half of her money away to be sustainable. That's business credit. She didn't have, it was the best pie. I tasted it, but she could not stand it when everybody would come into Walmart. It's gone.
Sell out, yes.
And that's what I'm trying to show people, the sustainability of being able to have a business, keep the doors open, be profitable, but you don't have to worry about, am I going to make this much money, this and this and that, because all that stuff is sort of taken care of, if you will. You see what I'm saying? So
got it.
That's where we are. I mean, you can tell, Tyresshia, I'm very passionate when it comes to this stuff. So you have to forgive me, but I'm going to close out. But it was just valuable. It's such valuable time right now for us to really get down and understand what's going on. And I really appreciate you coming on board. Definitely check her out, guys. Tell us, what's the best way to connect with you? It's the Charlotte Black Business Group. What type of dialogue? What would they need to do? Is it free to get into the group? Right? It's free.
Yes, it's free to join the group.
Okay.
You can send me a message. I try to respond within 48 hours of the message being sent. My goal is to remain accessible to the members. A lot of feedback I receive is, hey, you're very hands-on, you're easy to connect with. I don't get that in certain groups that I'm in. So yeah, definitely try to keep an open door for my members to connect with me.
Right. Well, definitely. Every time I hit her up, she's busy. She's always getting back to me. But guys, yeah, definitely support her, guys. I mean, she's got a lot going on. 33,000 members, guys. Come on now. I mean, big ups to Tyresshia. I mean, that's phenomenal. She's really helping a whole lot of people out in Charlotte. I'm going to support her, whatever I have going on. We definitely have some things in the mix. We're gonna monetize our relationship.
Thank you.
We're gonna monetize this thing. We're gonna have a good sit down, me, you, via the husband, whatever, and we're gonna shake this thing out. And I want to make sure that you're definitely profitable on your side. But again, Queen, thank you for coming on. This is Madam Marvin, guys, funding credit. I'm out here. I'm working. Trying to provide the right information and fill them gray areas that people don't know via between us and the banks and the way we need to look on paper. That's pretty much what it is. Are you valuable? Are you fundable? So that's a question. That's a gut punch for a lot of people, guys. It's a lot of stuff coming up. New time, new age. Are you fundable? All right, guys, I'm going to close out. This is Funding Credit. This is the podcast every Thursday, 7 p.m. This is your Madam Marvin guy, the CEO, the visionary. And remember, what you're seeking is seeking you. And money is my own natural energy yield. It's what I say about myself. It's how I feel about myself. It's what I say about my money. It has nothing to do with the green stuff. My own natural energy yield. That's where the money at, guys. Have a good heart, have good intentions, do right, and think big if you're going to think. Peace.